https://bit.ly//3bg0ibf, or join by telephone at 312-626-6799 and enter the webinar ID 950-7002-4425,
Just started.
and and add phone voice only passcode 430-020545. The Tax Abatement Committee will be hearing the following items. Item 1, LM-2020-0498, Roxanne Eckerson, President of Mitchell's Auto Parts, Inc., doing business as Chuck and Eddie's Used Auto Parts, is requesting assistance from the New Haven Board of Alders concerning account number 772-869. Item 2, LM-2020-0513, Something Sweet, Inc., is requesting assistance from the New Haven Board of Alders concerning account numbers 325203, 573485, 755923. Item 3, LM-2020-0514, order concerning real property taxes of Onofre Little on his motor vehicle tax
Let me
account
see if
number
Don mailed it to me. You'll get her now.
806306 and 829565. I'm going to ask all folks if they can just mute because I can hear the background. Item 4,
That's you, Santiago.
LM-2020-0523, order concerning real property taxes of Mr. David and Mrs. Sherry Bailey in the tax account number 0017545. These items are on file and available in the office of the city clerk, 200 Orange Street, room 202, New Haven, per order Honorable Jose Crespo, Chair, attest Honorable Michael B. Smart, City Clerk. If you need a disability-related accommodation, please call the business days in advance. 3 business days in advance, 203-946-8122 voice, or 203-946-8582 TTY. Please, the public may send a comment to the public testimony at newhavenct.gov or join the meeting in May via video conference. Without further ado, I would like to introduce the committee members. So I will go ahead and ask if the alders can go ahead and state your name and, of course, the district or the ward that you represent. And for the people that I see, I'm just going to call your last name and you can introduce yourself. Roth.
Abby Roth, Ward 7.
Singh.
Alder Singh, Ward 5.
Santiago.
Alder Santiago, Ward 15.
Festa.
Alderana Festa, Ward 10.
And I recognize Alder DeCola. Alder DeCola.
Good evening, Alder DeCola, Ward 18.
Thank you, sir. And I would like to ask Al if there's anyone from the public that wishes to talk about item 1, if the parties regarding Roxanne Eckerson, item 1, if they're present, if they can certainly be made available to speak to us.
Hi, could you hear me?
Yes. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So before we begin, if you can just state your name and address for the record, please.
Roxanne Ackerson, and I'm from Mitchell's Auto Parts, president.
And your address, please.
190 Middletown Avenue, New Haven, Connecticut, 06513.
Excellent. Please state your case.
So last year, our company, the woman in our office, she filed the personal property tax. She was 15 days late filing because her dad was very, very, very sick, and she was in and out of the office, and mostly out of the office for about 7 or 8 weeks. And we have a large manufacturing exemption, and so along with the regular penalties and interest, we lost that manufacturing exemption because of the late filing. We've never, ever, not once ever filed a second late on any of our taxes. We've never paid them late. It really was really a circumstantial problem in our office. And she was communicating when she got back with someone from the city, and I think she was under the impression that it was all okay. And then it wasn't, and it's a very, 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 very large penalty. It's tens of thousands of dollars. And so we're hoping that you guys would consider helping us on full abatement if possible, just because we've never, ever, it's not our practice to file late ever. And you can look at our records and it will show that.
I appreciate that, Ms. Ackerson. What I would like to know, what is the abatement that you're seeking for? What is the total amount?
Oh, I don't know. Should I have that with me? I'm at my home and I don't have it with me.
No problems. I'm going to ask staff, Al Lucas, would you happen to have the amount that she is seeking to have abated?
The 2018, when things were filed on time, the tax was $1,588.54. The 2019, because the exemption was lost, the tax amount is $48,287.75.
Got it.
So the
Can you just
adjusted the adjusted amount, if you grant the request for 2019, would be $1,658.72.
1658,
72.
72. Perfect. Thank you, sir. Okay. So the amount that you're seeking, Ms. Ackerson, is the $16,058 with 72 cents. Is that correct?
I don't.
Not 16,000.
1,600, not 16,000.
I do apologize. 1,658 with 72 cents.
I think that's what we would have paid if we weren't penalized.
Gotcha.
Am I thinking of that right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. I mean, that we would be so happy if we could pay, what we would have normally paid without being penalized.
Not a problem. So if there's nothing further, I would certainly welcome the committee to ask questions or to just comment. And do I see any hands raised? And I do think I also, before I continue to provide the platform to a colleague, I would like to recognize Alder Ortiz joining us as well. So I would like to recognize Alder Festa.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate the opportunity to speak on behalf of Ms. Ackerson and Chuck and Eddie's. I think if you live in New Haven, Chuck and Eddie's is an institution. It has been here for a very, very, very long time. They were the go-to place for many, many car parts, etc. And I just want to encourage the committee to vote in favor of the abatement, mainly because not only have they been a New Haven institution, but they are also community activists. And Roxanne reaches out to me all the time, particularly around the holidays, in asking me who needs turkeys or who needs anything for Christmas, food, etc. They donate to Fish every year, but not only do they donate monetarily, they donate of their time. So Roxanne actually goes and delivers food to the food insecure homes of the city. And they also have donated hundreds, probably thousands of turkeys during Thanksgiving, feeding so many people, so many families in our city. And she has also donated to toy drives, money, toys, etc. So for for those reasons, they are incredibly generous of their time and of their money. And like I said, Roxanne has always reached out to me to ask if we need anything in our community. So for that, I thank her. And I just wanted you all to know a little bit about the family that actually owns the company and what they do for our city. So thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Excellent. Thank you, Alder Festa. And I would like to, Mr. Vice Chair, if you have any questions. If not, anyone else from the committee, if you have questions, comments, and I see none. So, Mrs. Ackerson, I just want to let you know that you can either remain in the meeting, and then of course once we deliberate, you will find out what the recommendation of this body will be, and then of course that recommendation will be forwarded to the Board of Alders, who will ultimately make the final decision as to whether or not the tax abatement request will be confirmed or denied. Or you can certainly follow up tomorrow and call the office, where you can certainly follow up and ask what was the result of this committee, what was the response to your request for a tax abatement. So you're welcome to do whatever's more convenient for you.
Thank you.
All right.
I'll stay on. That's good. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Anna. That was really nice. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Hold
Thank you
on,
so
hold
much.
on. Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Vice Chair, yes.
I got a question. How about for this year? Had they already filed or
Yes.
did?
Yes. We filed on time. Yes.
So that means you only need the abatement for last year.
Yes.
So
Yes.
this year is okay. You pay the 1,600
Yes.
whatever? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great question, Mr. Alder Santiago. Any other questions? I see no more questions, but I certainly would like to recognize one of our colleagues who has joined us, Alder Clybourne. Thank you for joining us. Now I would like to go ahead and move on to item number 2. And that would be, I wanted to ask Al if there's anyone from that particular item, if they're present and able to join us to speak about that. That would be item number 2 with regards to, just bear with me as I pull the agenda back up. Okay, that'll be item number 2, Something Sweet. Do we have anybody from Something Sweet, Al?
Yes, you do. We have Tim Keneally, CEO of Something Sweet Inc., and I, Michael Meehan, CFO of Something Sweet Inc.
Excellent. If you wouldn't mind terribly, now that you've introduced yourself, you could just state your address where you reside.
We're at 624 Grand Avenue. Oh, 724, sorry. Grand Avenue, New Haven, Connecticut.
Excellent. And then if we can have Mr. Keneally, if he can also provide his address.
Yeah.
And also at 724 Grand Avenue.
Excellent. Thank you both. Please state your case.
Prior to Tim and I joining Something Sweet, the company had failed to submit its manufacturer's exemption form in 2018 by November 1st for the 2017 Grand List. Previously, Something Sweet Inc. has filed the exemption every year and paid their taxes on time every year. So this was an exception year. It led to a tax bill of $124,663 that the company paid in January of 2019. Subsequently, we began pursuing an abatement on this. We have filed our exemptions every year since, in 2019 and 2020. We've just recently paid our tax bill this month, so we're all up to speed and there's no issues. We previously asked our representative in the State Assembly, Juan Candelaria, to submit a bill on our behalf in the assembly. Our understanding was that this had to go through the state legislature. We were told it was governed by statute from the legislature. He submitted a bill during the 2019 session, HB 7413, which was passed. Unfortunately, they didn't write the bill correctly, and it didn't have the proper language to cover something sweet. We went back and asked him to submit a new bill, and he said he would at the beginning of the year, and then COVID hit and disrupted the assembly. So now we are appealing to the Tax Abatement Committee of the Board of Alders, City of New Haven, for their assistance in trying to resolve this matter. In the meantime, as we've been working on this, we've also been busy with our business in the City of New Haven. This year in 2020, even despite the COVID shutdowns, we actually opened a second new production facility at our Sergeant Drive location over behind IKEA. We've added equipment and made facility improvements, costing well over $1 million. Increased our sales revenue significantly by about $4 million in the products from that location. And most importantly, we've added approximately 80 jobs over there for workers on the lines and in the plant over 2 shifts. We were working 2 shifts, 6 days a week during the fall, and continuing double shifts now, but we will continue employing people over there in the future as the business grows. And as I said, now we ask your help and assistance in getting a rebate for tax overpayment. We estimate that we'll get it's certainly a large amount, probably around $100,000. So it would mean a lot for us to have that, especially in terms of our new investment, where we continue to improve and invest in our new facility.
Excellent. Thank you for that information provided. Does Mr. Connelly would like to add anything?
No, I have nothing to add. I think Michael has explained it well. Thank you.
Excellent. So just so that I can understand your request for tax abatement, I do understand that now that you have a Sergeant Drive location that has a revenue of about $4 million, provides services to 80, or provides employment to 80 individuals, and of course, as continued business is expected, that you're going to hire more people. The matter here is that you failed, or someone failed to submit the manufacturers, back in 2018, and then of course, you've reached out to your state representative, Juan Candelaria, and the bill that was supposed to be submitted in order to incorporate or include you or your organization within that bill, it was neglected. And then due to COVID-19, once the bill was going to be rewritten, it unfortunately got interrupted and it hasn't happened yet. So you're now asking for an abatement of, what's the amount? Did you say 100,000?
We're not sure. We normally pay about $9,000, and in that year, with fines and fees and penalties, we paid $124,000. So it is it's a significant amount.
I understand. Okay. And so before I make any recommendation, I certainly would like to open up the floor to my colleagues with any questions, starting with my vice chair, if he has any.
Yes, I got a question. First, you said you're located at 724 Grand Avenue. Is that correct?
Yes, we have 2 production facilities. The initial and previously operating, the original plant is at 724 Grand Avenue. And then we have a second location over at Sergeant Drive, in the food terminal. We're right next to Hummel Brothers. And that previously was used as a cold storage facility and a warehouse, but it had equipment for baking. It had an oven. And so we reopened it and have been operating there since the end of May.
Like, how many employees do you have?
We have,
give or take, you don't have to be perfect.
Excuse me?
You don't have to be exactly. Like, how many?
A guesstimate. What would be a guess? An approximation.
Between the 2 plants, we have upwards of approaching 100 employees with 2 shifts.
Okay.
30 or 40 a shift over 2 plants.
All right.
So,
Thank you. Thank you.
that sound about right?
Yes, that is correct.
Plus, we have
Hopefully there's some
warehouse
from New Haven,
personnel
right?
and management personnel.
I'm good. Thank you.
Any further questions from the committee? Comments? Just going around. Just bear with me as I'm shifting over from screen to screen to see if there's anyone else. I recognize Alder Roth.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you both for your presentation. I have a few questions. I just want to make sure I understand the facts as to what happened. I think you said, but I may have misheard, that you bought the company from someone else who had not filed the manufacturer's?
No, there was a previous management team.
Management team, okay.
Previous CFO had not filed the exemption form by the November 1, 2018 deadline. And I came in at the end of December 2018. And we received it, had the tax bills outstanding. So we addressed them and got them paid in January.
And so your role, you are the current management team. Your role with the company, I'm not clear what it is.
I am the chief financial officer, the CFO, and
Okay.
CEO, chief executive officer.
And so I don't know, I guess I'm curious how, it sounds like the time that the former person did not file the form, that was the first time that ever had happened.
As best of my knowledge, yes. And the company was established in 1994. And it's been at this location, I would guess, for at least the better part of 2 decades.
And do you have any sense why the form wasn't filed?
I think they were preoccupied with preparing for a baking season that was going to be very difficult and busy. And somehow it slipped by them. I don't understand completely. I wasn't here. I know it was surprising because they had filed on time every year. As I said, we addressed it immediately. And
sure, no, you weren't there, so I can appreciate that you don't have an exact answer. I guess my final question is just, we've had this situation come up a few times in the past. The item before this one was the same situation. The issue of it being brought to the state legislature and sort of a bill being filed there, that's something I had not heard before. And so can you just describe a little more what the intent of that was and why that was suggested to you rather than just coming to the Tax Abatement Committee?
Right. Well, when this initially happened back in January of 2019, when we understood it, or December 18th, we went to the tax assessor's office and we asked what we can do about this. Can we just file a letter, or do we have to somehow appeal to the city? And we were told that it was governed by statute and that it has to go to the legislature, that there was nothing we could do locally. Correctly and incorrectly, that was what the instructions we were given. So we acted accordingly and contacted our state representative and worked with him, understanding that was the avenue we had open. And when
thank you.
Then we were able to, we found out about the committee here and then appealed to you as soon as we could.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. I'm sort of curious to find out.
We were surprised too, yeah.
Why that advice was given. It seems like the simpler approach. Hopefully other people don't get that advice. It seems like the more straightforward approach probably is to come to this committee. But thank you for your responses to my questions. That's it, Mr. Chair. Thanks. I think you're on mute.
Thank you, Alder Roth. I appreciate it. I recognize Alder Singh.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My question is for the CFO. Did you lose your manufacturing abatement, or that's still in force?
We lost it for the tax year 2017 that was not filed 2018. We subsequently filed in the fall of 2019, and we received it. And we filed this last fall, in the fall of 2020, and received the manufacturer's exemption.
Okay, so that's been reinstated, the exemption. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, sir.
Great question. Thank you all for saying. You may lower your hand. Let's see, anyone else? I don't see any hands raised. Okay, I don't see any hands raised. So just like I stated before, to the
Mr. Chair.
previous, yeah, go ahead, Ms. Vice Chair.
I got one last question, if I may. I'm sorry to.
Of course, absolutely.
My question is, are you looking for credit or your money back?
Well, ideally, we would prefer money back. Especially
I have to ask.
a new facility that would go a long way into maintaining some of the facility and equipment over there.
Okay.
Of course, we will, accept what the committee finds, best decision in your viewpoint.
Okay, and like I said, I'm having trouble listening because it's low. You did say that you regained the status again for the last 2 years?
Yes, we did. For 2019 and 20, when we filed the exemption, it was on time, it was recognized, and we do have the exemption back.
And the last question, promise is gonna be the last one. If you don't get this, would any jobs be on jeopardy from your employees?
No,
Be honest.
we would not put them in jeopardy. However, as I said, it would be a very welcomed influx of cash for us to put towards that facility. We still have needs, we still have requirements over there. It's still a process.
Thank you. That's it. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I think Alder
You're
Ortiz
welcome.
had a question too.
You're welcome, Mr. Vice Chair. I recognize Alder Ortiz, but before I allow her the opportunity to speak, for our viewers, those that are participating via the Zoom or watching us in the future in YouTube, if you see me looking down, because I want to provide some point of clarity, it's because I'm taking notes on my phone. One of the things that I like to do is to be able to provide, once we have an opportunity to deliberate, in order to reflect on some notes. So because we're going electronic, I don't have a particular pen and pencil and paper in front of me. So I just would like to make a point of clarification that, every time you see me looking down, it's because I'm taking notes, so that I can certainly address any questions or concerns that comes up at the end from the committee. So having said that, I would also like to recognize Alder Douglas, who has joined us, and I would like to now yield the floor to Alder Ortiz.
Thank you, Chair Alder Crespo.
You're welcome. Absolutely.
I was just wondering, I know you mentioned you have 100 employees. Are any of those employees, majority, are they from New Haven, or are they from surrounding towns?
I believe the majority are from the New Haven area. There are some from adjoining towns, East Haven, but primarily they walk to work and catch the local buses to work here. So primarily New Haven.
Thank you.
That is a phenomenal question, Alder Ortiz. As a matter of fact, that was one of the questions I was going to ask. So I appreciate you asking it, because we certainly understand the needs of the community, the needs of our businesses, and certainly we promote the idea of hiring locally because there's so much local talent. But if I don't see any other questions or any other concerns, let me just scroll one by one. Okay, I don't see any hands raised. So before I let the two attendees who are asking for an abatement, I just wanted to ask, what is the total tax abatement you're requesting?
Our expectation would be, the difference between what we paid and what we would have paid if the abatement had been properly received back in 2018.
Do you have a number that you have paid, a total amount?
We paid a total amount of $124,000.
And had it been a normal tax abatement year, or had it been a normal year where your manufacturer's exemption would have been implemented, you would have paid $9,000 and...
I'll correct that. It was $9,000 per half, so it was about $18,000 for the year. We just paid
18,000 for the year.
we just paid 9,000 for the second installment, so about 18,000 for the year. 9,000.
Okay. And where are you with regards to being able to ascertain where the bill is in the state delegations or in the state legislature? And have you been in contact with your state representative to find out if it has already been in the works? Has it been brought back to the committee, or has it been brought back to the floor as a potential revisiting to include your organization?
Yeah, we have reached out and have not gained clarity as to the status of it previously. We did our understandings that they would reintroduce the bill in a future session this year when the legislature meets.
Okay.
Not had great communication, to be honest, with our representatives. So, but if that's a means we need to pursue, of course, we'll pursue it. But
Gotcha. I mean, if they inform that it is going to be revisited in the future, I think that would be sufficient to, that would suffice as to, the fact that they're looking at it and they're considering it, and there's something that they're, considering to go ahead and update. So I'm sure that once that occurs, you will certainly be getting a phone call from the state delegation and from your representative to update you and your organization with regards to where it is. So if there's nothing further, I just want to ask
Muted.
Mr. Chair, I think you are muted again.
Oh, wow. Okay. I guess I was muted. That was weird. I just wanted to ask, hopefully everybody heard everything I said, but I wanted to ask Director Lucas if he happened to have the total amount that would be considered as a potential either reimbursement or tax credit. I know it would be the first half of the year. I know it's 9,000.
It's 9,000 for half year, yeah. So 18 for the full.
Right.
Is it 9 even? I just want to ensure. Just want to ensure once we make if there's a motion on the table that we have accurate numbers that will reflect for this particular item.
So, Mr. Meehan, if you tell him what the actual bill was for this year that you paid, that will help him get the answer he's looking for.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for here.
Okay.
So we have.
Yeah, because let's say, for example, you're expecting a $9,000 payment, but then you only paid, let's say, $8,950 approximately. We want to ensure that we have the accurate number, the precise number.
Right. So the personal property tax for account 325203 was $12,228.48. And then account.
I feel like, Mr. Chair, in documents that Don Hayden had sent us, it has an overpayment amount of $100,538.83 in the memo we were sent. So
that's what I got too.
Right.
What's the overpayment?
$100,538.83.
Okay.
Okay, you see you had that. Okay. Thank you.
Got it.
Well, Mr. Chair, can I say something quick?
Sure.
If anything, if we approve this abatement, we could go, pending we could go back to the tax office or the assessors, and we'd ask them the right number. I mean, we could go with the abatement, pending the total, and then, I mean, that's a suggestion if you want to
That's a great suggestion, Mr. Vice Chair. I will certainly entertain it. And at this point, I just would like to ask the parties, if you have nothing
Here,
further to
if you
ask,
need a number, they may have it, Mr.
All right.
just want to go ahead and give the opportunity to the parties if they want to, if they have that number. If not, I would certainly entertain the suggestion from my Vice Chair. Mr. Meehan?
Oh, the difficulty in calculating here is we don't know what 2018 would have been. As I said, we just paid, let me get the 9,000 for half the year. I just wanted to get the exact amount.
Earlier calculations tell us that the 100,538 is accurate.
What we've been using is $100,000, but let me, what did Kenda just pay? So we paid. I apologize for this.
Oh, no, it's all right.
Just it was paid for by.
Would you like to have a reflection of accurate numbers so that we certainly can, rectify any issues on our end if from both ends?
Yeah, and I understand. I'll have this here. It is PPT. Here it is. We paid $9,827.24 on January 14th, which would have represented our second payment. Of course, this is based on the 2019 grand list.
Yeah.
Two would be $19,654.48 would have been an approximation of the bill that we would have paid in 2018 had we received the exemption.
Right. Okay. So I will go ahead and entertain my colleague's suggestion, because you've paid $9,827.24 on January 14th to reflect the second half. And then if you're going back to 2018, you're using the example of $19,654, which would have made the first payment $10,000, or the payment that you're asking for would have been $10,000. So because I don't have those accurate numbers, it's okay. We can certainly ask the assessors to provide that. And of course, contingent upon receiving that information, if this committee wishes to go ahead and approve the tax abatement, you can certainly either remain at the line and hear what the recommendations will be from this body, or you can certainly get a phone call or reach out to Director Lucas or staff Donald Hayden in order for you to receive the information that we have decided to go ahead and submit to the Board of Alders. But at this time, anything further you would like to say, to suggest, or to ask?
I would just like to thank the committee for their time and for allowing us to make our petition. And thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Of course, you're very welcome. Mrs. Kennelly.
Again, thank you very much. We appreciate your taking the time to listen to us.
Absolutely. So thank you both. And somebody will, you'll be in touch, or you can certainly listen once we deliberate. Thank you both.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. As we move on to item number 3, this is LM-2020-0514. I'm sorry, that was the one that we already heard. Nope, that's actually the correct one. I just want to ask Director Lucas if we have Onofrio Little. I understand that these are 2 different accounts, but I wanted to know if the participant is available to speak to this committee.
Yes.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Excellent. If you can state your name and address for the record, and then you can proceed and state your case.
Onofrio J. Little, Little, My current address is 51 Ivy Circle, Apartment B, West Haven, Connecticut, 06516.
Excellent. And then you can just state your case.
Yes, sir. I'm a graduate of Wilbercross High School in 1973. I entered the Air Force in 1973. I entered as a security police officer. I got into the war towards the end of the war, the Vietnam War, but I was there for the evacuation and for the removal of refugees back to the United States. And I was wounded in battle. I have a Purple Heart. What happened was when I was discharged in 1979. Oh, I'm also a retired Capitol Hill police officer in Washington, D.C. So anyway, when I was discharged in 1979, I came back to Connecticut and I gave my paperwork, my DD-214, to then clerk Sally Brown. She took it and she signed it because I also went to high school with her, so she knew who I was. So she took it and she filed it. So I was able to register a couple of cars from that time on. So all of a sudden, about 2002, I get a note saying that I had owed taxes on a vehicle, but I've always had, I maintained, well, at the time the vehicle that was in question was a 2007, I believe, Saab. I was living in Newington, Connecticut at the Veterans Hospital. Like I said, I am a disabled veteran right now, at 100%. However, I've always had my DD-214 on file, but I don't know why I was still getting these tax, for property taxes. So I submitted another one to Mr. Smith, Ron Smith, when he was clerk, city clerk for the city of New Haven. And I was still getting these bills, for tax. And according to, I guess, the directives that I shouldn't be charged property tax for a vehicle. And I was just wondering if I can get it expunged.
I appreciate, number one, you being part of this committee tonight to state your case. Number two, I wanted to thank you for your service. And I certainly commend you for what you have done for this nation and for each and one of us that are benefiting, that service. I certainly understand that you have the DD-214 and that you are currently a disabled veteran seeking the abatement the tax abatement for the two property taxes. Before I, provide a comment, I just want to ask any one of the committee members if there's any questions, concerns, or if they have any statements that they would like to make. I don't see anyone. Just bear with me. Okay, I see one hand raised. Alder Roth.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you very much, Mr. Little, as to echo the chair for your service and for coming tonight to explain all of this. I had one question. We received some materials in advance of the meeting, and it talked about you're not getting the veterans deduction. It also referenced one car being that you don't have the cars anymore because one car was stolen and so I just wasn't sure if that was part of what you were raising as well, or if it's more you're raising the veterans.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. What it is, the veteran issue is not relevant to this. Although I did have my DD-214 submitted since 1979, the initial one, and then I resubmitted another one when Ronald Smith was the city clerk. However, the Intrepid that was in question, that had veteran tags, so that shows you right there that I had the abatement, the DD-214 should have been on file. However, that belonged to a girl I was dating at the time, and we broke up, and she had my tags, and I don't know, I'm here to fast forward, let's say like 10 years later, I got her son contacted me and said something about taxes that were due on the car. That was a car that was purchased in her name, on her name, but she had my tags on there somehow. We weren't even dating at that time, and that come back to haunt me. But, even if that was still the same thing, I believe she has paid taxes on it. It's her taxes are already paid. They told me some taxes were paid up on it. And I just want to get that, clarified, ma'am.
Sure. No, thank you very much for that. And I guess I'm just trying to understand, and forgive me if I'm confused. I'm not sure if you are concerned that you were taxed for not having, that they didn't give you credit for for being a veteran when you should have been given credit and not had to pay, if that's what the issue
Well,
is.
initially I was given credit when I filed with Ms. Brown, but a few years later, fast forward, I tried to re-register a car because when I left Newington, Connecticut, because they gave me the tax abatement up there in Newington because I was living there at the VA hospital. And then when I moved to West Haven to be close to the VA hospital. Let's put it that way. Because like I said, I'm 100% disabled. But I moved to New Haven, but somehow or another I had purchased a car in between then, and they didn't have me down as being a veteran, but DD 214. So I was taxes were put on my on my grand list or something. Like I don't I'm not familiar with your terms there, but I was taxed for it.
No, thank you. That clarifies what my question was. That I just wanted to make sure I understood correctly, because the notes we received were a little confused. So but thank you very much. That explains what I was trying.
What is your name again, ma'am?
It's
what is your name again? Miss Abby. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you again.
Thank you, Alder Roth. Any further questions from this committee? I recognize Mr. Vice Chair, Alder Santiago.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm just, and I apologize if I'm getting up and down. Just clarification. What he's asking for, his bill is for $1,027, right? With 33 cents.
Yes, sir.
Now,
1,037.
With the veterans deduction, the bill goes down to $216. So am I correct by assuming that he's asking for the veterans deduction, so it goes down from 1,000 to 216? Am I correct, Mr. Onofrio?
No, it should go down to zero because all my taxes were supposed to have been vehicle taxes. So for the vehicles, but 2 or 3 vehicles, and I shouldn't have to pay property tax on the vehicles because I've been registered with the city of New Haven since 1979. But when I went back with to bring the DD 214 back to Mr. Smith, Ron Smith, I asked him about why did I have to do it again, and they told me that the records were lost somewhere along the line. When in the transition, when you move from the old City Hall to the Hall of Records, from the Hall of Records to where you are now, to City Hall.
Okay.
At that time, they were on Orange Avenue at the Hall of Records.
Okay. Now let me go back a little bit now. The Dodge Intrepid, the Saab 900, and the Nissan Maxima, were they yours?
Nissan Maxima. I never had a Nissan Maxima.
No?
Never had a Nissan Maxima, and one should never been in my name. See, me and Ramona McDowell, we broke up in 2008. So anything after that, she probably flip-flopped, she did some underhanded stuff. Let's put it that way. I have not seen her since 2007. What happened was her son, I raised her son as my own. I took him to my life when he was 4 years old because he didn't have a father figure or anything like that. So his mother, when we stopped having problems, I still kept him under my wing because, I wanted to, I wanted to be that father figure. I want to be the role model for him. And to this day, he still appreciates that. But he had called me about a year or so ago, said that his mother said that she had all these unpaid tax bills or something like that. And that was her. She never even contacted me, but she went through her son, and he was like 18 at the time. So it was just a little confusion right there. But long story short, by me putting in that DD 214 initially in 1979, I thought that would carry me all the way over. I don't know whether or not you're supposed to recertify. I was supposed to resubmit it every year, recertify or get recertified, whatever. But that's what the problem was, sir.
Okay, and then before we continue, I gotta thank you for your service, definitely, and I apologize. You said that at the beginning, but the last question: were you guys married or no?
No, we weren't married at all. No, I wasn't married to her.
But do you?
And we were together. We were together like 4 years, if that long.
Okay. Did you raise her car for her or her son, or you didn't?
No. Her son's 18. I had him in my life since he was 4 years old. And I took on the responsibility of being the father that he never had. So what happened was when the mother and I started having issues, she started, doing her thing. And I just couldn't tolerate no more. So she had done a lot of underhanded things up to me. And, so I had to get out that relationship.
Okay, I'm satisfied. Thank you. And once again, thank you for your service, sir.
You're welcome, sir. And thank you for hearing my case, please.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yes, sir. Okay, I guess the chair disappeared for a minute. Any more questions from any of the colleagues?
Yes.
On the Douglas?
Alder Douglas. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Hello.
So the question is, do you have to register your DD 214 every year? That's the question. Is he responsible to submit that DD 214 to be qualified and certified for the tax abatement? That's the question.
I could answer that for you, on the Douglas. No, he doesn't. He doesn't have to file every year.
Okay, all right. Well, then that should clear things up. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. Vice Chair, the chair's there is disappeared for a minute.
Well, you're the chair right now, so.
Oh, okay. You're right. Thank you. Any
Mr.
more
Douglas.
questions for any of the other colleagues?
Is that Mr. Douglas?
Little, you want to say something?
Yes,
Mr. Douglas?
Go ahead.
Yes,
Is
sir.
that Mr. Frank Douglas?
Yes, it is.
Is that Mr. Frank Douglas?
Yes, it is.
Oh, how are you doing, sir?
Who is
I
it?
just want to say, Onofrio.
Oh, Olivio, how are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, sir. Yeah, I recognize your voice. Although I've seen you since high school. Yeah. No, okay. Well, I'm a boy in blue. we was the airmen. I was the Air Force. My brother was a Marine.
Oh, wrong one.
So I just want to say, when they said Douglas, I said, I remember you was on the board.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, John Moore. Yeah, he just recently he died last year on us, man. He left us, so
Okay.
but he had a good life. Yep.
All right.
But I appreciate that. It's good hearing from you. Say hi to you too. Okay.
All right. Once again, any more questions for any other colleague? I recognize other Singh. You're on mute.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to Mr. Ortfinio. So the 2002 Nissan Maxima was never registered to you.
I never had a Maxima. I've always had a foreign car, basically. It's Saab, and that's it, Saabs. I never had a Nissan Maxima at all. Never.
So your abatement you're looking for is for the Dodge Intrepid, the 2001, and the 1997 Saab 900. Those are the two vehicles you are seeking.
Yeah. It was $1,000. I think that's what it was. I don't know where, sir. I really don't know.
I just want to clarify, thank you for your service. And, we appreciate what you have done for this
country. It was an honor, sir. It was an honor. Wish I was still there.
But I just want to make sure, that we can assist you of what you do but the remaining vehicle, we want to keep, my opinion, would like to have it separate. That's why I'm asking the question, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
I don't know anything. I don't know anything about the Saab, sir. I really don't.
The Saab or the Nissan?
I'm sorry, the Nissan Maxima, whatever. I don't know anything about the Maxima.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Are you done on the thing? Okay.
Yes.
Anybody else? Going once? Anybody else? Going twice? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Little. If you want to stay here and hear all the deliberations, or you want to, hang up and then call.
Yeah, I can stay on hold for deliberation. You can mute me and I'll just stay on listening. If I get disconnected, because I know my battery is low. I was at Walmart when Mr. Lucas called me, and it is kind of low. I just walked in the house with the grocery. I was hoping I can interfere, but how would I be notified? How would I be notified if I lose contact with you guys?
Yeah, if you get disconnected, just call tomorrow, call Mr. Lucas, and he'll tell you our recommendation.
Okay, thank you, sir, and I appreciate you guys, and thank you all for your help.
But listen, just for the record, it's only our recommendation to the full board. The full board still has to vote. Usually,
I understand.
Usually they go with our recommendation, but so the whole board has to vote.
Oh, I understand. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. And our chair is back. Back to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
Before we go ahead and move to the next item, I just wanted to ask Mr. Norford, is there any further that you'd like to add?
No, sir. That's all. I was just trying to get that off so I can I want to get this handicap van. I just need to get back on the road. That's all.
I appreciate that, and I do apologize to
And
everyone.
and with all this going on around, I just need to have, ample transportation. Although I don't live too far from the VA, sometimes it's a hassle trying to get, the handy van and all that stuff,
Yeah, I appreciate it. Well, if nothing further, you have a great day, sir. I'm pretty certain that
Thank
my
you.
vice chair was able to explain what would be the next step.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye. So just a point of clarity, I apologize for the disconnection. And I received a phone call and I went to turn it off to decline it. And it completely still went open. And of course, it was a conversation from a district manager regarding 12 gun shops that were just appearing in the community. So I do apologize for that. So having said that, let's go ahead and finalize with item number 3, which is, I'm going to ask if there is someone to speak on behalf of item number 4, rather, which is the real property taxes of Mr. David and Sherry Bailey. I know that there was some testimony submitted. I'm not certain if anyone is going to read it. I can certainly ask one of my colleagues if I can have the vice chair read it. But before we do that, I wanted to ask our Director Lucas if there was anyone from the community that was going to speak on that item. If not, then Mr. Vice Chair Santiago?
They're here, Alder.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, perfect. So if you would like to, to the 2 participants that have joined us, if you can state your name and address for the record.
To read?
Yes.
Why am I supposed to read?
The testimony that was submitted on behalf of Mr. and Mrs. Bailey regarding the item on real property taxes, account number 0017545.
Sorry, I thought I was muted.
It's all right. Okay, so I do see David Bailey, and I would like if you can just state your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, my name is David Bailey. My address is 5010 Wheeler Road, and that's in Oxon Hill, Maryland. The zip code is 20745. But my wife, Sherry Bailey, is actually the owner of the property. She's on the line as well.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Sherry Bailey. My address is 5010 Wheeler Road, Oxon Hill, Maryland, 20745.
Please state your case.
Yes. This situation on my wife's behalf, she purchased the property roughly 3 years ago, 85 Hazel Street, and that's in New Haven, Connecticut. The property is basically the worst property on the entire street. And she purchased it at an auction that had to be approved by the City of New Haven Tax Office, which was approved roughly 3 years ago for $10,000. The price reflects the massive, very bad condition of the property. And when my wife purchased the property, the lawyer who was representing the sale for the city explained to my wife that my wife asked him about the taxes on the property. And he said, yes, once you become the owner, the taxes then will be majorly reduced to reflect the condition of the property. He said, because it's currently being taxed because the city believes that the property is basically, he called it turnkey. So he said that the property, the city thinks that this property is turnkey. They don't know that this property is destroyed. So they said that the taxes will be adjusted majorly so that my wife will have a very low tax bill. And that also will reflect the $10,000 that she paid for it. And my wife has been receiving great help from a gentleman by the name of Mr. Lucas, and then also the alderwoman as well for our community there, Ms. Delphine, who's been helping out, trying to help my wife the best that she can, because she's very familiar with the property and the neighborhood. So therefore, my wife also went down to City Hall to the tax office and spoke to the young person that be at the window right there to help you out. And when they asked her from the address, they pulled up the address and said that my wife was going there to make sure that the taxes get reduced. They told my wife that there's nothing that my wife can do because she's not the owner. My wife said, I just can't, I went to an auction at that property. The lawyer was there representing the city. I purchased it for $10,000, and I just want to make sure that the taxes get reduced because the property is basically destroyed. They said, well, once again, Ms. Bailey, there's nothing we can do because you're not the owner on record. He said, I just put it in the computer and it shows that a gentleman by the name of Mr. I guess Carlton Outlaw. They said that he was the owner of the property. And my wife said, no, I just bought it at a tax, at a sale, a foreclosure sale from the city. And they said, okay, well, once it gets uploaded into the system and they see that you only paid $10,000 for it, and my wife had pictures and everything, she submitted pictures and everything, they said, then they'll adjust the taxes for you. Well, all the way up until 3 years right now, my wife has still been trying to get the taxes adjusted. And she went to the meeting before. The gentleman's name was Mr. Don, I believe. He had us come all the way from Maryland to meet him in his office. And this was roughly going on maybe over a year ago or so, 2 years actually. And he said that he was going to take care of everything for my wife, that she didn't have to worry about it, that he was going to take care of it. He was familiar with the property and the situation. So when they had the meeting, Mr. Don, for whatever reason, didn't explain to the board of aldermen that the property was destroyed and that my wife only paid $10,000 from the city, and the tax office already knew that the property was destroyed, and that's why they only sold it to her for $10,000. So we're hoping and praying on my wife's behalf today, of course, with the alderwoman, Ms. Dolphine, and then also with Mr. Lucas, who's been trying their best to help my wife, that my wife can have this taken care of. They said that they reduced the taxes, but now they just need to, I guess, retroactive the taxes for the other 2 years when my wife purchased the property as well too. 2 or 3 years, I'm sorry, sir. But Mr. Lucas and the alderwoman are very abreast to the situation. And I apologize if what I'm saying maybe not coming out professionally, but I'm just trying my best to help my wife, and that's the situation, sir.
I appreciate it. I certainly, I comprehended every single piece that you provided us. I believe the committee has certainly understood. But of course, this is why we have a dialogue, in order to provide an opportunity for questions and answers. Before I continue, I just wanted to ask if Ms. Bailey had anything addition to her husband's testimony.
No, he's pretty much explained it, how it's gone thus far, and the fact that I haven't been able to do anything with the property as well.
Oh, that's right.
It's a really eyesore for the community, and waiting to get this tax adjusted so that the bill can be, paid correctly, and then I can go on and do something to the property.
Right, because her attorney advised her that don't do anything with the property yet until you get the tax matter taken care of, because you don't know what your taxes are on the property. So this has been going on 3 years now, and it's 4 years, I'm sorry. And it's just an eyesore for the community. And Miss Clybourne, who's been very helpful in the community, she can attest to my wife that my wife, she makes bad properties in the inner city communities throughout Newhallville. She makes those very bad properties basically brand new type properties. And she can contest to the great work that my wife has been doing over the years. And then also my wife's attorney, Murray Tracton, who just actually retired, Murray Tracton of the Tracton Law Firm, can attest to all the great work. And I believe Mr. Lucas has probably spoken to some people about my wife as well, and they all can attest that my wife is a very major plus, and I try to say that humbly as I can, but a major plus to the New Haven, Connecticut inner city community as it relates to real estate investing and taking, the very bad properties and making those, put those back on the tax roll and put good tenants in the properties and put everything up to code and up to zoning. And so she's received a lot of accolades from city, from the mayor's office over the years, and LCI and people like that have really been, thankful to my wife.
I would like to add that I am a native of New Haven, Connecticut.
Oh, we both are. We both from I'm from Newhallville as well. I was born right there on Shelton Avenue.
And I'm from Church Street South. And I graduated from Lehigh when there was a Lehigh and when there was a Church Street South. So I'm definitely, as you could want to say, a constituent of New Haven still.
Gotcha. I appreciate you both for your testimony. Before I open up the floor to my colleagues, and I do know that Alder Ortiz raised her hand. I just want a couple of questions from my end. When did you purchase the property? Was it in 2017?
Yes, it was March 21st, 2017.
Okay, and have you made any payments as far as paying taxes?
No, because they said that when you try to make the payment, it says go to the attorney because they passed since my wife has made a formal trying to get the taxes reduced and bring it to the people's attention. They said that now she had to go through processes to do that.
And have you been able to?
I'm sorry, but you'll see all the properties that she does own in New Haven, which are in the inner city, tough neighborhoods. You'll see that all her taxes are paid. They're all paid up.
Excellent. So in relation to this particular property, were you able to have the actual confirmation that your name is indeed in the title, that is actually yours, that the actual payment has been processed, and that you are now the official owner?
Correct. They finally, the judge signed off on, the tax office had to get the judge, and then of course, the tax office had to sign off as well too, because the judge and everybody wanted to know, why did you sell this property for only $10,000? But then when they went and looked at the inspection pictures of the property, the interior and exterior, they really, to be honest, they said they couldn't believe she paid $10,000 for it. She was the only person that even came to the auction, sir. The auction took place in front of the house, and nobody, you couldn't give it away. And Ms. Clybourne would contest to that nobody wanted to buy it. And I'm quite sure, you have a lot of investors in the city of New Haven who's buying up all the properties over there. You have, Pike and Mandy and a lot of other investors, and not one of them showed up to the auction. It was like, no way.
Yeah. And one more question is, so I'm glad that you finally confirmed that, because in my eyes, that would have been the most important thing, just to confirm that that is your home, your title. So once, I know that you had to talk to an attorney in order for you to make an attempt to make a payment. Even though you were unable to do so, what is the current tax that is being requested for that particular property? Would you happen to know?
We spoke with Mr. Lucas. They just adjusted, and Mr. Lucas, if he's on the line, he may have the new adjusted price. They just they went through everything now, and they adjusted the taxes to reflect the condition of the property. And now they're just saying that it has to be retroactive from the past couple of years that they had charged at a regular price. So I don't know if Mr. Lucas is on the line. He may have that new dollar amount for the adjusted taxes.
Gotcha. I'm asking for the old amount. Would you happen to know that?
Oh, no, we apologize, sir.
That's fine. No, that's all right.
We're not in the office. We're not in the office right now. The office closed.
That's fine. I just wanted to ask Director Lucas if he happened to have that number for the old tax that the city was collecting, and then the adjusted tax.
Based on the calculations that Don provided, the old tax 14,000 total, that was $14,279.08. The new adjusted tax would be $5,230.48. There is a foreclosure fee that is in there, additionally, of $20,4760. So with that fee, then the tax would be $79,7408. The Board of Assessment Appeals adjusted the value of the property to $32,830, and that's where that times the mills for the existing years is what generates that amount.
Gotcha. So that's what, 7,900 and what was it, 79?
Well, if there's two different numbers, right? So there's one that's the 5,230.48. That's the act tax.
Yep.
If you include the foreclosure fee, then it's $7,974.08.
Okay. So ultimately, it would go back down to 5,230 with 48 cents.
That's the tax without the foreclosure fee, correct?
Correct. Okay. Got it. Perfect. Thank you, Al. I would like to recognize Alder Ortiz. I know that she had her hand raised.
Thank you so much, Chair Alder Crespo.
Sure.
When you purchased this property in 2017, I know it was a foreclosure and you were there at the auction. What was your intention of what you were going to do with that property at that time?
Okay, so my wife, she was going to rehab the property and then put a tenant, a low-income housing tenant. She has a great relationship with the head person of your Section 8 office in New Haven, Connecticut, on I believe it's Abatement Street or I believe it's something, or Orange Street, I believe. And they explained to my wife that they have a list of families that needs that property. So they've been waiting patiently as well for my wife to let them know that the property is now move-in ready, because they have a lot of families that are, I guess, in the New Haven, Connecticut area of low-income housing family that needs that property.
Is it a one family for only one family, or is it for multiple?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it's a one family. It's 4 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms with a full basement. And so she's saying that it's very hard to find. The Section 8 director said it's very hard to find right now in New Haven 4-bedroom single family houses for families. She said that they have a list that's very long, because I guess a lot of people, she tried to explain it to us that a lot of people are moving from the suburbs back into New Haven. So a lot of the apartments are not available anymore, especially low income, up to zoning codes that will pass inspection. And she knows my wife is an A+ client of Section 8 in New Haven for years, and they know that all my wife's properties are always up to code. So they told my wife to please, Miss Bailey, let us know when that property is available.
Thank you so much. No further questions.
Thank you, Alder Ortiz. I would like to recognize my vice chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Okay, my first question. She was there when the auction was done?
Yes, she was. I was there as well.
You were there?
Yes, sir.
Back then, when you started coming here, I could almost 100% remember that you said you sent somebody to buy it for you because you were in Maryland in your house.
That's not
And I mean, we could go
No,
back and
that's
check
across the street. That was our daughter. That's across the street,
we
sir.
good. I mean, I'm not calling you a liar. I'm just
that's at 88 Hazel Street. That was our daughter. That's across the street. That's another house, sir. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Okay.
That's a good memory, though, sir. Good memory. Very good memory. Right. That was our daughter. My wife couldn't make it there, so she bought the lot across the street as well too. That's at 85. I'm sorry, 88 Hazel Street.
Okay, I'm glad you realized I got a good memory. So let's keep it there. Let's keep it there. Okay.
Mr. Vice Chair, before you continue, Mr. Vice Chair, before you continue, just wanted to inform Mr. David Bailey that by putting the camera closer to your mouth, we could hear you just fine. You're good.
That's right. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
I get
you're good.
Not intimidating anybody, sir. But let's go back to the business. Okay. So then when you own a lot of houses, you own like a couple. I remember your case. You own like 4 in Hazel, and you own like a couple in different places. Am I correct?
My wife does, yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, your wife, yeah. Because I remember because I used to be the chair. And now when you buy, since you're not rookies buying houses. Let's put that into record. When you buy houses in foreclosure auction, I think you buy them assessed. Am I correct? Or you buy an assessed, right? Because the house
totally correct. My wife does. Yes, sir.
inside, but you buying the way it is. Am I correct? Okay.
Oh,
like I said, we're gonna help you because you do improve the street. I mean, but I just want to make sure that all the ducks are in a row. Let me see what else I was gonna ask you.
Thank you.
And you bought it from the water company, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. Yes. The water company lawyer said that it has to be approved from the tax office and it has to be approved from the judge of the city of New Haven.
But the water company took it from the owner because they owe the money, and then you bought it from them, right?
Yes, my wife bought it from them. Yeah.
See, my memory.
But it had to be approved. It had to be approved from the tax office and also from they brought it before the tax office brought it before the judge in New Haven, and then the judge had to sign off on it.
Sir, yeah, I remember because like I said, I wasn't here until last year. But like I said, you're willing to pay the less, the taxes that you are the lower taxes.
Yeah. So my wife, they said they adjusted the taxes. I guess they did a research and they adjust the taxes. So Mr. Lucas said, now that the taxes are adjusted, my wife has to get the taxes retroactive adjusted as well too, because the property now they see what the real taxes were on the property.
I agree. So that means that the 5,000 will go back like 3 years since you bought. Is that the 3 years that you had it already, right? You'll be paying 5,000
Yes,
for the
that's what
last 3
Mr.
years.
Lucas, yes, sir. That's
Okay,
what
okay. I mean, like I said, we
Say it again?
want money, so the city needs money. So, like I said, if you're willing to pay that, I mean, once again,
No. I
No.
think you might have said it wrong. No, sir. The taxes on the property, and I apologize, we're not in my wife's office right now. So,
Yeah.
but Mr. Lucas may have it there. They just adjusted it, the property taxes, to like $700 and something a year. So now
Is it?
my wife has to get that taxes retroactive from the couple years from when she bought it. So now it would be like $700 and some odd per year times, let's say 3 years of back taxes.
Okay, let me. Oh,
The current tax on the property just was adjusted. The tax abatement in New Haven, Connecticut did an investigation or research, and now they just adjusted the taxes. The property tax a year now is like $700 some odd.
so why did this 5,000 that Mr.
Yeah. Al, can you just explain that, because I have the same thought that the new adjusted taxes are now 5,230 with 48 cents.
Which is a lot.
Right.
That's
It is.
that's what I have as well. That's what Don provided. I do not have any other documentation.
Okay.
The tax bill being lower, unless the amount that was provided on the worksheet also includes the interest. That might be the difference.
Okay. And
The taxes prior to anything happening per year is $2,891.06. That's the regular yearly taxes on the
that
property.
sounds better.
Right.
That sounds-
And
that sounds-
now the taxes abatement board or assessment board reviewed the case, and now they lowered the taxes. Now that was based off the property being turnkey. They thought that the property was move-in ready when my wife bought it.
Yeah.
Now they found out that the property is not worth anywhere near that they assessed it to be worth. So now they adjusted it to like $700 and some odd a year.
It went down to
So
like
now,
30,000.
my wife has to get the new property tax retroactive for the past 3 years. So it would be like $700 and some odd for what the new tax bill is going forward currently today, times the past 3 years.
Okay. So just so for refresh my memory, is it a one floor, two family, one family?
Yes, it's a single family property.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
it can't be 5,000 because that's too much money.
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree with that one. I agree.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so you know what? So let's. I'm gonna yield my time. So and go back to the share. We could just find out whatever the tax is and times 3, whatever.
Absolutely, because I definitely want to ensure that we have the the proper numbers.
Yes.
Mr. Vice Chair, anything else?
Just say to Miss Bailey, keep investing in New Haven.
Oh, praise God.
Keep investing in New Haven.
I appreciate that. And sir, if you don't mind, your name had came up when I was there the last time, and I know you were busy. But if you don't mind, the next time that my wife and I are in town, if we could maybe try to set up a meeting, we would like to speak with you as well.
I'm done, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Anyone else? Let's see. Any more questions? I recognize Alder Singh.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for clarity, through the chair. So we are looking at the current tax bill, whatever that is from the tax office, retroactive to the time of purchase. That's my understanding. Correct me if I didn't hear it right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Sure. Any further questions? Let's see.
Yes, Mr. Chair. On the
Yes,
hybrid,
Mr. Vice Chair.
say a couple of words, if I see it correctly.
Sure. 1 second. Before let me just go ahead and look. I just want to make sure that all the committee members have had an opportunity Okay, I don't see anyone else. So I would like to recognize my colleague, Alder Dolphine Clybourne.
Thank you,
You're welcome.
Chair. I thank you for giving me this opportunity. I was listening on from this meeting to my management team meeting. I'm hoping tonight that we could solve this so the Baileys can move on and make the area look much better there on 85 Hazel Street. And I am aware that we do need more of 4 bedrooms for people in this city. We need those 4 bedrooms for families, but they have been very good to our neighborhood, supportive to make sure that even though it's affordable, that it's clean, it's somewhere that you want to live with your children, you know, to make your children feel that, you know, this is where I'm living. I'm happy about where I live. So we know what it is in this city, what's going on with us now. You know, a lot of the affordable things there's not a lot affordable, and where everything is just so high, and they, you know, I heard, you know, they want the affordable to stay like in my area. You know, I'm learning if you put affordable in other areas, you know, they don't like that. So I want the Baileys, I want the Baileys to know that I am grateful that they want to put something affordable in New Hallville for people so they can feel proud about where they live. So I'm hoping we solve this tonight. And what I've heard so far, going from this meeting to my management meeting, I believe we have solved this. Chair, I'm asking you that question. Does it look like it's solved? Because now we know they have did the taxes on how this house was and the worthy of this house. That's how they were able to do the taxes. Chair, can you help me there? I can't hear you.
You're muted, Chair.
Thank you. I apologize for that. So that is a great question. Alder Clybourne, I can tell you that if you remain in the line, we can certainly, once we deliberate, we will make a decision based on what the committee recommends. I don't see it not being approved, but of course, I'm not going to speak on behalf of the entirety of the committee because I would certainly would like to listen once we have an opportunity to discuss and deliberate what exactly the committee wishes to do, and then we will recommend that according, we'll forward it to the Board of Alders for final approval.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I understand, you know, the process of what we have to do. Was just sharing that, you know, where our community just want this area to be done, and you know, we want this area to be developed, you know. So
absolutely.
And that the Baileys, you know, things get done right by them too, as well as investing in an area like our area to make sure people have what they, and a place where the people can be proud of, even though it's affordable. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alder Clybourne. And I'm just going around before, let's see, committee members. I don't see any further questions or hands up. So if nothing further, Mr. and Mrs. Bailey, if there's nothing further you wish to add, you can certainly remain on the line. or you can certainly call Al Lucas, and then he can inform me as to what exactly the decision was from this particular body. And I would like to thank you from, of course, on behalf of the New Haven constituents for taking the time to, just like my vice chair stated, for investing in New Haven, investing in the constituents, and of course, reiterating what my colleague Clyburn had stated regarding the fact that you guys are an asset to our community, bringing the affordability of housing, especially the 4-bedroom that is needed during this time of need. So if nothing further, we'll certainly let you know at the end what is the decision of this committee.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And
yeah.
So is it okay if we call Mr. Lucas tomorrow?
Sure, absolutely. That is exactly one of the options that you can certainly take.
Okay. Thank you all, and God bless you and your families. We only wish the best.
God bless you too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so at this time, I would like to open up the floor to the public. If anyone in the public wishes to testify, but before I make that announcement 3 times, Al, if you can just let anyone from the public join us. And I would like to say, anyone from the public wishing to testify on items 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, this is your chance. Does anyone from the public wish to testify on any of these items? Going twice. Anybody wishing to testify from the public on the following items discussed? I see no hands from the public. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we close the public portion of this meeting.
Do I hear a second?
I second for the 4. We don't have 5, only 4.
Certainly, on the 4 items that we have, yes. There has been a motion on the table, has been seconded to close the public portion. Discussion, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? The ayes have it. Committee, what is your wish? Mr. Vice Chair.
Okay, make a motion on the first one. Okay.
Whatever is your pleasure.
I make that we grant the abatement. Like Alder Festa said, they do help the community. They've been there for a long time. Both parties there plenty of times. Like I said, I think they deserve the abatement.
Do I hear a second? I heard the second. Thank you, Alder Roth. So at this time, discussion. Anyone else wish to testify, provide an insight, comment, question? Seeing none, I would like to say that I agree with my vice chair. I certainly.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair.
Is there a hand up? Alder Singh?
Yeah.
Okay. Before I grant you the floor, Alder Singh, I'm just going to go ahead and say that I certainly agree with my vice chair. I certainly wish that they get the abatement, not just because they're always, contributing to the community, but, mistakes happen, errors happen, especially during this pandemic. So much has occurred that we certainly need to show the flexibility to be able to continue to have our businesses stay afloat, especially during this pandemic and a time of need. So, Alder Singh.
Yeah, I'm in support, Mr. Chair.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. And if I don't have anyone else wishing to testify or provide any insight, all in favor to approve the tax abatement?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. I apologize, Mrs. Alder Roth.
If I see it, I'll let you know.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And no, I just want to echo what everyone said. This is a longstanding company who has paid the tax for years and filed the form for years and years and years. One time slightly missed it, and does a lot for the community. And so I think, granting the abatement request is the right thing to do.
I concur. Saying that no one else has anything else, Mr. Vice Chair, before we go ahead and vote, anything you wish to add?
I'm good.
All right, sir. Perfect. So I don't see any further hands up. So all in favor to approve the motion, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? The ayes have it. Item 1 has been moved, seconded, and approved. What is the wish of this committee? I'll entertain a motion from Mr. Vice Chair. You're muted, sir.
I move. I move the item.
And what do you wish to do?
Okay. I would like to approve the abatement pending knowing the exact amount that they are. Also, we have to discuss if we're gonna credit, refund, how we're gonna do it. So, I mean, my motion is to grant it pending, the amount, the exact amount, and how we're gonna do it, as we discuss it here.
Got it. Do I hear a second for item number 2 for
Second.
Alder Vice? Okay, perfect. Discussion. Alder Ross?
Man, I could have went to damn 95. Shit.
I think it was Alder Santiago was raising his
Yeah.
hand. Vice Chair.
Okay, Alder Santiago.
Okay, as I heard here, they've been in Grand Avenue for a while, and I think Sergeant Drive, if not I'm mistaken.
Correct.
I'm gonna be honest, I haven't been there. So given that they're in Grand Avenue, I maybe guarantee they hire people from the area. And they've been there for a while. And I guess they made, whoever made the mistake not filing, because it's not that they did not pay, it was failing to file. I think they deserve it.
I completely agree. I know that the manufacturing exception has been granted yet again for 2 consecutive years. It was just a I don't want to say scrivener's error, but it's just a lack of filing on time and missing that. So I understand that, again, things do happen. We certainly do not welcome the repeating practice, so we can certainly evaluate each organization independently from every other one. And so as a case by case, if we determine that folks are missing it year after year, or it happens consecutively, we certainly will not, or as long as I'm the chair, I would recommend not to approve such an abatement. But the fact that they've always done it, and I believe, if my memory serves me well, that the organization was there since 1994, and given that he is doing it now and Sergeant Drive next to Hummel Brothers, I know that many of the folks that have worked there were actually constituents of New Haven. As a matter of fact, family members of mine worked there in the past. So I understand that they are certainly welcoming folks that walk to work or take public transportation to work, which are from our community, which certainly speaks to the fact that they're hiring the local talent, which is something that we are all in agreement that we definitely want and need. So I certainly would like to agree with my colleague. And having said that, if there's no further discussion, all in favor to approve the tax abatement or the motion that was set forth by the vice chair, pending or contingent upon getting the exact number, please indicate with an aye.
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 Aye. But
Clarification.
But yep.
Are we doing the credit? Are we doing the refund? Half and half? I mean, how are we gonna?
You make that determination, given the fact that you are the maker of the or the author of the motion, unless you're willing to entertain a friendly amendment from someone else.
Well, they did say that they were gonna put the money there to improve the facilities and all that. So, I mean.
So then I'll make a friendly amendment that I'll allow the committee. What does the committee say?
You know what? I'll do a friendly amendment to my own.
Oh, no, you can amend. You can amend yours.
Okay, I'll amend it. Let's refund.
Refund the okay, perfect.
Full amount. Well, we gotta get the exact amount that they overpaid.
Yep. All in favor to approve the motion as amended, please indicate it with an aye.
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 Nay? Any abstention? Any nays? The item has been approved as amended. Now, all in favor to approve the amended item, please indicate it with an aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
I again.
Nays? Abstentions? The ayes have it. Did Alder Roth, did you have your hand raised?
Yeah, I was gonna make a comment, but that's okay since we voted already.
Okay. Okay. So the item has been approved. You, by all means, you can certainly go ahead and speak. I know that it's after the fact, but if not.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. No, I agree. I mean, it's not that we are, as we've said, it's just, it's a credit that they deserve as a manufacturer. Paper wasn't filed. It was a different management company. The current management company is trying to do the right thing. For years and years, the former management company had actually done the right thing in terms of accrediting or just giving the refund now. I mean, while as much as I wish the city didn't have to give back $100,000, I mean, we're gonna serve the difference for the city, whether we do it now or whether we do it after July 1st is pretty de minimis, and it will benefit people. They have been out the $100,000 now for some time, and so for them to have it back, I think seems fair.
I agree, and I think it was captured with the motion that was amended by our colleague and Vice Chair Alder Santiago. So I appreciate you for saying that. Absolutely. What does committee wish to do for item number 3? Mr. Vice Chair.
Okay, in this one, I make a motion to forgive everything. Everything. I mean,
Do I hear?
Okay,
Go ahead. No, continue,
Second.
please.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Vice Chair.
I guess
I cut you off, so I wanted to give you an opportunity to continue.
no, it was just the amount. I was going to say the amount because with the veterans deduction, he's only supposed to pay $260.10. I mean, we forgave, more than that. He's a veteran. He served our country. I think he deserves it. That's what I have to say.
I can appreciate that, Mr. Vice Chair, and I certainly can say that I share your sentiment, and I'm in agreement as well. I would like to give an opportunity to anybody in the committee to speak, any of my committee members. Seeing no hands raised. Before I continue, Alder Roth, do you have anything to say? Because I was going back and forth.
No, thank you, Mr. Chair.
I saw Alder Singh with the hands up.
Alder Singh.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for clarification, I was hung up with a 2002 Nissan. I wasn't quite sure who the 2002 Nissan was registered to. He said it was registered to his girlfriend, and somehow, it fall in his tax bill. So I'm all for forgiving his taxes, but if the 2002 Nissan is not his, it should be a separate matter.
That is a great point. Mr. Vice Chair, comments?
I just heard from Mr. Lucas, the bill is on his name. So, how can we separate it? It's on his name.
Oh,
it's included in the 216 anyway, so.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, for that clarification.
Yes, sir. You're very welcome.
I wasn't, wasn't quite sure. He was saying it was on his, his girlfriend, and so I wasn't quite, clear on that. But thanks for the clarity. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And I do understand that there was the tags were on the girlfriend. I guess the girlfriend took the car with the tags on them, and that's why it falls under his. Pretty much he owes the balance.
So the car was registered in his name, and in reality,
yes, that is correct.
Yes,
that is correct. And I did see Alder Douglas. Your hand went up for a quick second. Just wanted to know if you yeah, please go ahead.
I'd just like to confirm my colleague, and yes, we should forgive all, being the fact that yes, the car was registered in his name. Given that fact, it should be forgiven also. So let's move on and give him his due. He's a veteran. He served us. He served us well. Known personally. He's a very fine, upstanding citizen. Very good gentleman. So let's move it. Thank you.
I appreciate that, Alder Douglas. Certainly will not be falling in deaf ears because I believe we share the sentiment amongst each and one of us of our committee members. Having said that, let's vote. All in favor to approve the motion that was passed by our vice chair, please indicate it with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? The item passes. What does this committee wish to do for last item number 4? And I recognize Mr. Vice Chair, Alder Santiago.
Okay, I move this item and a motion to grant the abatement. But like I said, like item number 2, pending the exact amount that they have to pay. Because I think it has to go back 3 years. The new rate that they have, I'm willing, I'm proposing that we accept it, but we have to know exactly what it is, and then retroactive 3 years. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the whole what they asking for. I motion to approve it.
Do I hear?
My bad.
Yep.
And to forgive the interest.
Do I hear?
And foreclosure. Sorry.
And foreclosure fee.
Yeah, foreclosure fee. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So just for point of clarity, because I know we want to ensure that this is moved accordingly. Vice Chair Alder Santiago makes a motion that we forgive the interest, that we waive the interest, that we waive the foreclosure fee, and that we approve the tax abatement contingent upon getting the corrected amounts for this particular item. Is that correct, Mr. Vice Chair?
Yes, sir.
Do I hear a second?
Alder Singh, Mr. Chair.
Alder Singh?
Yes, discussion before we vote.
No, I need a second. I haven't heard a second yet.
Oh, the second.
Okay.
Okay. Otherwise, the motion would have died at the floor, or at the table, rather.
Yeah.
Now that it's been moved and seconded, Alder Singh.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Sure.
Foreclosure fee, can we forgive the foreclosure fee? Is it a separate fee from the taxes?
That is a great question.
That's a separate fee. We only deal with the taxes.
I'll accept a friendly amendment.
So would you like to make a friendly amendment to remove the foreclosure fee from the motion that was presented by the Vice Chair?
Yes, I will.
I'll entertain a friendly amendment from Alder Singh.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. In my opinion, I don't think we can forgive the foreclosure fee because it's a separate item at the time of sale. But yes, I do entertain whatever the adjusted taxes as of this year, go back, for a time of purchase. That's my recommendation.
I granted, your recommendation has been heard. What is your friendly amendment? If you could just make, I make a friendly amendment.
Friendly amendment to amend that we abate the taxes that was previously, occurred at the time of sale, and follow the new adjustment. And the foreclosure fee, I will take it off amending the foreclosure fee from the taxes.
Second.
Do I hear perfect? Do I so all in favor to approve? I mean, number one, I know that the Vice Chair Santiago has entertained and agree. Okay, perfect.
I agree. Perfect.
All in favor to approve the friendly amendment that was set forth by Alder Singh. Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Okay, the friendly amendment is well, actually any opposed, any abstention, the item passes. Now, all in favor to approve the newly or the friendly amendment or the item as amended, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? The ayes have it. So I will certainly want to thank everyone for your opportunity. I certainly want to thank each and every one of my colleagues for staying along for such an important cause. And I would like to recognize Mr. Vice Chair.
Okay, just I know we already voted. Just for clarification, the last item, he has to pay the foreclosure fee, right?
Correct.
He wasn't. He will pay the adjusted tax.
Yes. Yeah. Just for
the
discussion.
Adjusted taxes. Yes.
Okay, got it.
Just for discussion.
Interest.
That works for me.
So the interest.
Just
Yep.
for
So the interest has. So the interest has been waived, and the adjustment will be accepted contingent upon us receiving the correct amount.
Yes.
However, it has been reincorporated that the property owner will now have to pay the foreclosure fee.
And
perfect.
I
Thank you.
Yeah,
Probably missed.
you're welcome.
Mr. Chair, probably missed this and pay the tax in full from the time of purchase because it hasn't been paid for the 4 years, the 3 years. Zero tax.
Right. So retroactively, they'll be paying for those 3 years.
3 years, yes.
Yep. That is my understanding.
Yes.
But of course, Director Lucas, please correct me if I'm wrong. But
that was the motion going back to 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah. And I did for just my understanding, the foreclosure fee is a fee where the city pays the attorney at the time to conduct that business. So that was
indeed.
Fee, yes.
Your point is completely legitimate. I certainly, we've all entertained it. It has been approved. So at this point, you've made your point and it has been approved. So yeah, I agree.
Thank you.
Having said that, thank you everyone. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Don't move.
Do I hear a second? No discussion needed. All in favor to adjourn, please indicate it with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Everybody.
Any abstention? Too bad. We're gone.
Good night,
Goodbye, everyone.
guys.
I hereby
Good
conclude
night.
this meeting.
Good job, guys.